What's going on? This is Jeff coming at you from my condo in Koh Lanta, Thailand. Today I was just gonna mix it up because I figure why not. So I'll come in front of the camera instead of doing my usual animations. We'll try it like this and see how it goes. The book I'm gonna be talking about today is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Now, I came out with part one of this about a year ago. So for those of you guys who don't know who Marcus Aurelius is, or you haven't watched part one of the video, Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome, and he was like a very good emperor. And this book is pretty much his personal diary. Like, he didn't write this for anyone. This is something they found after he died, and it's like his personal memoir of like how he should behave in the world. And it's pretty interesting. He's not like talking about like, how do I get more power, how do I like become this or this or this. It's like, this is a guy who's just like trying to find like little daily habits, daily ways of behaving, like just like trying to make sure he works and make sure he does like everything proper for his fellow man, not judge other people and stuff. Like, and that's pretty powerful stuff, like knowing that the most important person on the planet thought like this. It's like, that's a good dude. He's going through these principles like, hey, like, you're gonna be dead soon, it's okay, like, your job is to serve others. It's pretty inspiring stuff, and I recommend that everyone check out this book because it has changed my life, and I think this is one of the ones that will change your life as well. So I want to go through a couple of the quotes that I like from the book, and I'm gonna read those to you and then talk about those for a little bit. I'd like you guys to let me know what you think about it as well. Stop drifting. Sprint for the finish. Write off your hopes, and if your well-being matters to you, be your own savior while you can. So what this means to me is, like, we can't be pulled in every direction. Like, you need to have goals, and you need to just, like, there's a certain amount of time that we have to be alive. You have a bunch of shit that you gotta do. So you gotta hurry up, get it done, and just go for it. And he talks about, like, if your well-being matters to you, like, be your own savior. So, like, yeah, like, he's saying that it's not actually that important to be happy, which is pretty interesting stuff. We have this, like, in society, we have this, like, addiction to, like, you always have to be happy, like, you always have to, like, feel good and stuff. Like, he's saying, like, you have a bunch of shit to do, how you feel about it doesn't matter, which is pretty important, I think. No random actions, none not based on underlying principles. This is something that you have to sit down, figure out what are your principles and what do you want to get out of this life. And this is one of the quotes that kind of really helped me quit drinking entirely. Was I was looking at it and I was like, with like this action of me like drinking alcohol with my friends, what benefits does it give me? Like, does it lead me to any road that I actually want to go down? And the answer was no. So I just like cut it out, and that like really helped. Like, this quote really helped with that. Think about other things in your life that you are doing that don't actually get you into anywhere that you want to be, pretty much. And you might want to think about getting rid of them. It's quite possible to be a good man without anyone realizing it. Remember that. We're put on this planet to help our fellow man, essentially. And if you're doing that, you're being a good person. And that's, you don't need recognition, you don't need people to recognize it. Like, your job is just to be a proper good person and leave everything to someone else. Like, it's not up to you to get recognized for it. Love the discipline you know and let it support you. Entrust everything willingly to the gods, and then make your way through life. No one's master, and no one's slave. This reminds me of a quote from Alan Watts, where he's talking about how you should do what you love, and you just forget about all the money, forget about, like, if this is a good path in terms of making you money, and just do whatever it is that you love to do. This is an important thing because there's pretty much an abundance of money in the world. Like, whatever you do, if you just go hard at it and you just like find what you love to do and just do that, and then you just trust that it'll all work out in the end, most of the time the universe works in a weird way and it actually does work out for you. What happens to each of us is ordered. It furthers our destiny. So this one, everything that we do, it's kind of meant to happen to you. So, like, even though bad things can happen to you, you got to realize that, like, it all connects in the end. And if you look back, all the bad stuff that's happened to you in the past, like, it was proper that it happened. And every decision you make in your life is taking you down a different path, and it's like cutting off and closing other doors, which is kind of scary, but it's also like liberating. Like, we can be whoever we want to be, essentially. It's just important to keep in mind that, like, when bad shit does happen to you, it's just meant to happen. And, like, when you look back on it, you're like, okay, that made sense at that exact moment, why that needed to happen. So, like, say you have a job interview coming up or something like that, and you're like worried, like, what if I don't get it? Like, I really need this. Like, this job is very important to me. Pretty much don't worry about it. Like, it's not up to you. Like, your job is just to do your best with it, and then if you don't get the job, it's fine. It's cool. It furthers your destiny to not get the job, and then maybe something better will come in the end, or maybe something better will not come in the end, and you're gonna have a horrible life. Beautiful things of any kind are beautiful in themselves and sufficient to themselves. Praise is extraneous. If you look at an emerald or a diamond, it's shiny, it's cool, it's beautiful, but it doesn't become more shiny or cool or beautiful by people saying that it is. It just is what it is, and we have to keep in mind that we need to just be what we are. It doesn't matter if people are giving us support for it. You figure out what it is that you want to do in your life, what kind of principles you want to live by, and then you just live by them, and it doesn't actually matter if anyone gives you props for it. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. When things happen to you and you like act in a certain way, you can rationalize why you needed to act in that way. Whereas if someone, like say someone cuts you off in traffic, you're like, that guy's a dick, blah, blah, blah. Like say someone betrays you at work, or someone betrays you in your friend circle and the politics are getting in the way, and you're just like, oh, these people are like, everyone's out to get me. It's super easy to think like this. But what this is saying is to like take it and like flip it around. So like just be tolerant with everything. Like give people the benefit of the doubt when they do fuck up or when they do something wrong. But when it comes to yourself, when you aren't behaving with those principles that you know you're supposed to be living by, give yourself a hard time. Like, you don't deserve to be cut any slack if you're not doing what you know you need to be doing. This is a mindset of like complete responsibility. So like you don't think you're better than anyone for being strict with yourself. You're just like tolerant. Everyone is on their own path. I'm on mine, and mine involves me doing my absolute best. So when you think about it like this, you're being tolerant with others. Like, hey, it's all good, it's all good. But like with yourself, like, pull it together. Whatever happens to you has been waiting to happen since the beginning of time. The twining strands of fate wove both of them together, your own existence and the things that happened to you. So it's interesting to look back and think, like, when were you born? Is it at partition? Like, is it when your parents met each other? You could potentially have been born because that set off the chain reaction, or you could have even been born when their parents met each other. So it's like, when is the actual beginning? And you realize like every single chain reaction of things, every single event on this planet like led to everything that currently is happening. And the Stoics called this the logos. In spirituality, they say like this is just like the universe. Like the universe will provide. The universe like just works in a certain way. Like Mother Nature does certain stuff. Everything that happens to you, you can't just be like, oh, like how'd this happen to me? Like why? And it's like, well, since you've been born, this was waiting to happen to you. It just hadn't come along yet. So it's very interesting to look at things from this perspective, that everything that comes to you is destined to happen, and it was all planned out from long before you or I came into existence. Since I've read this book in the last year, like 5 or 6 times, I've gotten a lot out of it, and I've really noticed that with Stoicism and what Marcus Aurelius is talking about in this book, it's a lot of it is like spirituality, and it's just like let go of the outcome, let go of like trying to control everything. So this is so that was my video, my first time being in front of the camera, talking to you guys. Let me know how you liked it, if you want me to go back to animations, if you want me to like intersperse like this with animations. And if you like this channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that subscribe button there to support us, and I'll see you very soon.
Don't be afraid, don't back down your heart, 'cause I will be hurting no doubt, with the voice torn apart. Don't be afraid, don't back down your heart, 'cause I